Hi, welcome back to Homebody. I'm Amy, and today we're talking about the spine as core. So that's our bony midline that runs from head to tail. It's a really important structure for us because it helps us orient to space, above and below, front and back, and side to side. When we're developing as embryos, it's the very first thing that gives us a sense of what is up and what is down. So we're going to explore today in our workout how the relationship of core, spine, and limbs helps provide a more fluid and effortless workout and movement practice. We're also going to talk about how finding the very top and the very bottom of our spines, how they can communicate and relate to one another as a way of providing even more fluidity and nuance to our spinal movement. I hope you have fun with this. Let me know how it goes. Begin by finding a comfortable seated position. And we'll start by finding the top of the spine. Bring your hands to your cheekbones and walk them back toward your ears. And this is where the top of the spine is and how the skull sits right on top of the spine. You can move your jaw around. You can put your hands at the base of the skull and kind of rock there. That's also the area where the skull and the spine meet. So just rock the head a little bit front and back, side to side, feeling that joint there. You can see here in this image how the skull rocks on the very top of the spine. That image to the left shows the top of the spine. So now coming to hands and knees, we're going to use a prop. So either the wall, I'm using a cushion leaning against the furniture, or any other kind of object that you can lean your head up against. So I'm imagining the very top of my head reaching into this prop or object. And then I'm gonna reach my tailbone back into space against the reach of my head. In this image, you can see the very bottom of the spine, the coccyx or tailbone, and it has a trajectory that reaches back and outward. So using your tail, sway side to side, up and down behind you to try to get a sense of the bottom of your spine. Now I'm going to tuck my toes under and reach backward and forward, rocking on my hands and knees, all the while initiating from the tail to pull me back and the head to reach me forward. Can you feel both at once? The reach of the head even as you lean back, and the reach of the tail even as you go forward. Next, we're going to come back to the hands and knees, keeping a nice long spine between head and tail. And we're going to breathe into the belly, expanding down as you inhale, and compressing the belly up against the spine as you exhale. Now, if you haven't learned this one with me yet, check out my video on deep core activation. Walking back away from the prop against your head, come to a hands and knees position. We're going to find a cat-cow. If you're familiar with this pose, simply means rounding and arching the back. So can you imagine the two ends of your spine coming together as you come forward into space, wrapping those strong abdominals together as well? And then can you feel the head and the tail reach apart and behind you to shorten together along the back, creating extension? Breathing into your belly, lift it up as you curl over. And then as you come into extension, can you also keep lifting the belly? Next, can you sway side to side, curving your head and your tail to the right and the left, making a C curve. This would be similar to if you were seated and you were side bending. Try to move the head and the tail simultaneously. And then we'll move in a full circle. Can you put those 4 directions together? Again, can you move head and tail together, curling over to the side, into extension, and over to the other side? Then reversing your circles. Make sure that you move your tail along with your head and you're not just moving one or the other. You can come back to neutral and rest for a moment. Coming forward again to hands and knees. Now we're going to work on isolating the movement of the limbs. So can you keep your head and tail reaching in their respective directions and glide an arm out to the side without shifting your spine? Keep it quiet, keep it still. Can you incorporate your deep core activation to help you maintain that stability? And then move to the legs, shifting on one knee so that the other leg can stretch back, just like your tail reaches back in space. Move on to the next kind of movement for the spine, twisting or spiraling. So raising your right arm up to the ceiling, opening the chest away from your standing arm. You'll then sweep that right arm under and thread it under the standing arm. Bring your right shoulder down onto the mat, spiraling the ribs to the left, resting your head. Breathe into your ribs and shoulders. And then you'll press into your standing arm, release that right side, come back to hands and knees. We'll do the whole thing on the left, raising the left arm up, thread it under and through, over to the left. Find the spiral twist in your ribs, rest your head, and breathe. Coming back out of that spiral as you're ready, and back to hands and knees. We're going to walk the hands back toward the knees and sink back toward the heels, making our way into a forward bend. Please use props if you need them. And you're going to slowly find the tail to roll you up to standing. That means curling the tail deeply down and letting the head sequentially roll up to stand. And then we'll reverse it, starting with the head curling over the tail. We're going to go back and forth, and can you just feel the weightedness of tail to bring the head up and head to bring yourself over. This time as you come back to standing, we're going to raise the arms up. We're going to find a spiral through the body with one arm going forward, the other arm going back, and then reversing that to come back to neutral. So windmilling the arms, and with that moving the rib cage and the spine. I'm keeping my head still and allowing the mid-spine to change even as the upper spine does not and the lower spine does not. Then rolling forward again, feeling the weight of the head, leading with the head to come forward. Walk yourself into a downward facing dog shape or an upside down V. Now in this shape, feel the weight of the head against the reach of the tail like we've been doing. And we're going to make our way to a plank pose, leading the head away from the tail. Find that long spine. Once you're in plank, rock your heels, your ankles back and forth. Imagine the ankles as an extension of the spine. Come down all the way to the floor. resting your forehead on the mat. Arms are wide by your sides. Leading with the head, you're going to curl it up as if you were extending, like on cat-cow, and then roll it back down. The difference is that the tail is not curling toward the head this time. We're simply moving the head toward the tail. So keep the tail reaching in the direction of the legs. Use your hands to help you and peel yourself up inch by inch, coming only as high as feels comfortable. I've showed various amounts of height. You can find the one that works best for you. Letting that go, we're going to roll onto our side and find balance from head to tail. Can you feel the weight on that bottom side and lift the top arm and leg, balancing? Then, just like before, can you peel your head off the floor and find a side body curve? Then we'll do one lifting the tail and the legs as well. See which one you like the best, which one feels more orienting or organized. And then rolling onto your stomach. We'll do the same exact thing on the other side. So lining up your body to balance, bringing your hand on top of your hip, trying to balance, and float the arm and leg up. Finding ease in the length of your spine, and then peeling just the head up and lowering that down. Then try the head and the tail with the legs. Find it again, maybe once or twice more. And then letting that go, you're going to come on to your back, bending your knees, feet on the floor. We're going to rock the pelvis backward in space, curling the tail up and reaching it through the knees to roll you up into bridge. Rolling back down. So this is a pelvic lift that's going to initiate from the tail while the head stays quiet and still. And then we're going to start with the head curling up, reaching through the arms to bring your upper body off the mat. We're going to go back and forth like this. So roll up from your tail through the spine and come down. Then roll from the top of your head where the head and the spine meet. Finding those abdominals as you move. Try that one more time. Rolling up from the pelvis, from the tail, firmly planted in those legs. And then from the head, meeting the spine, shoulders down and wide. Then bring the hands behind your head. You're going to roll up with the upper body. Right arm's going to cross to the left, beyond the left knee. And we're going to create that twist we did when we were standing earlier. Find a pulse, reaching through the arm to give you the deeper twist. And come back down. Do that again on the other side, curling up, reaching the left arm, cross to the right. Find the twist of the upper body against the lower body, staying quiet and still, and pulse. Bringing yourself back to center and rest. Hug your knees in towards your chest. We're going to rock them over to the left, taking a spinal twist. This is the lower part of you, the lower spine, twisting around the upper spine. Different than the last exercise, that twisted upper body over the lower body. Taking your time to keep breathing and move to the other side. Enjoy the twist. And coming back to center. Grabbing your legs, you're going to roll yourself up to sitting. We're going to find this curved shape from head to tail while you sink back off your sit bones. Rock your knees in towards your chest and keep this tight ball shape for rolling like a ball. We're going to move back and forth. Can the tail lead you back up and over and the head curve you up and forward? The next time that you come forward, lower your feet, find a tall pose of your spine, and then re-curl from head to tail. This time feet stay down. Reaching your arms forward in front of you, counter with a strong belly pull back, and then lift and lower your arms without moving your body. So spine is not going to lower and lift with the arms. Keep that pulsing of the arms and make your belly work for you, curling head and tail around your center. After about 10 rounds of those, roll up sitting tall, and then roll all the way back down, unfurling your spine. Lay back in the floor and take some deep breaths into your belly. When you're ready, roll over and come back to sitting. Find a comfortable seat like we did in the beginning of this session. Find your sit bones, find the bottom of your spine, your tailbone, and the top of your spine at the skull. Seeing if you can feel the two ends of your spine growing in both directions. Can you feel an effortless sense of your posture? I hope you enjoyed this practice. I really loved being here with you. Thanks so much.